Hi there, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another video. We're very early for this one. A lot of things are brought back from the first version. The good features and the bad stuff too. But still a big change up from this line. And this is the Adidas Trae Young 3. So I just want to tell you the most important thing right off the bat. For the best fit, you need to go down a half size. I'll repeat it later on in the video just so you remember. But to avoid heel slippage and get a more secure wrap around your feet, you need to go down that half size, or maybe even a full size down. And I'm not even exaggerating. For those of you who remember what we talked about with the Trae Young 1, maybe this rings a bell. Heel slippage is back, ladies and gentlemen. They fixed it on the Trae Young 2. Well, they overdid it. So that shoe took like a good 5 minutes to just even put it on. The 3 looks very different, but if you think about it, this topographic design isn't like brand new. They had that on their Adidas 22 slides. The Trae Young 1 was 130 bucks. 2 was 140 bucks. So these, I'm guessing the retail price will be either 140 or 150 US dollars. This launch colorway should be released sometime in September. Anyways, there are really good things about these, like the reduction in weight. So let's get right into some details. If you haven't done so, I'd like to just ask you to please consider subscribing because we have a lot more exciting new hoop shoes to talk about here on this channel. They come in this black Adidas box. Sometimes simple is good, but this is kind of too simple for a signature shoe. Adidas made up a new logo for him too. Well, at least this time they went with this version of his initials, TY. There is a signature inside the box lid. On the first look, I would still consider these a low top. And the most obvious change up is with the midsole. Other than the patterns, the foam feels pretty soft in hand, and it's a consistent full-length feeling from front to back. It's obviously very early on, so I can't really find any info on the tech specs, but instead of Boost plus Light Strike on the Trae Young 1 and 2, this feels more like Bounce Pro on the Dame 8 to me, especially on feet too, which we'll talk about soon. The upper has a standard textile material, some ventilation holes on the tongue. There is some interior padding in the V shape, but again, be aware of heel slippage. That padding doesn't really lock down your heel nicely. Looking at the outsole, it's like a half solid rubber, half translucent outsole with mostly a herringbone pattern. One thing to note is that unlike the Trae Young 1, for example, which was one of my go-to outdoor shoes, the treads don't feel so sturdy. Like you might be able to tell as I run my finger across the lines. So not sure about durability outdoors this time, but I will provide updates if I do use them outside. On the bright side, this is a more flexible upper than the previous versions, and they finally reduced the weight. My size 10 pair is 435 grams, so still average weight at best, but compared to the 1 and 2, this just feels much lighter on feet, and it is a notable difference. As to how the Trae Young 3 performs on the court, underfoot cushion, just like the previous 2 models, did not disappoint. It's pretty bouncy, especially in the heel. In general, you get a good feedback from the midsole when you're going up and down. Transition, I wouldn't say it's the most fluent out there, but you are low to the ground. They basically kept the flat shape. Now, I guess a lot of you will be interested in what the cushioning setup is. Sorry, I really have no clue because the shoe comes out in like 2 months. But if I was to guess, based on how the midsole feels, especially the heel compression, reminds me a lot of the Dame 8. Don't quote me on it, I might be totally wrong, but I'm thinking Bounce Pro. Maybe it's just some other type of foam. Maybe they decided to change things up. Trae Young 1 and 2 were Boost plus Light Strike. Trae Unlimited was Bounce, but this is feeling like a Bounce Pro. It's not written anywhere on the shoe. Like it doesn't say Boost, Light Strike, or Bounce. Well, at least you get a sense of how it feels on feet. It's closer to the Dame 8 than it is to the recent Trae Youngs or Hardens. I'm more of a play and feel type of guy when it comes to the setup. And all I can tell you is that this should be responsive enough for most people. Now, moving on to the traction, the first 2 times on a very clean court, this also was immaculate. There was minimal to almost no dust pickup, and they remained fairly clean until I brought them to a dusty court. But either way, you should be able to get to a hard stop consistently. Not a squeaky outsole though, if that matters to you. Pretty much no squeak to it. With the fit, here we go again. Heel slippage, heel slippage, heel slippage. To avoid that, I guess just go down a half size. I have tried on this shoe in my true size as well. Half size down is simply a much better fit. They are wide enough for my slightly wider feet, so that's good for our fellow wide footers. I didn't really like the lacing system. These 4 lace loops, which is a pink color on this colorway, didn't allow me to tighten it up nicely. Trae Young 1 was a shoe with 3 eyelets. Trae Young 2, man, that fit was weird. This is okay, but nothing impressive about it. Finally, one last thing is that the stability was a little disappointing, even though you are low to the ground. If you're sprinting back and forward, this upper might not give you a good balance, so just keep that in mind. But breathability is fine, and they're not heavy anymore. Overall, I think the Trae Young 3 is a decent shoe that brought back some of the identity from his first shoe, while also reducing the weight. Heel slippage is a generational talent on Adidas basketball shoes. Be aware of that. Traction works fine, stability not so good, but they are wide foot friendly. I think that pretty much sums up everything you need to know. And if I was to throw these on a tier list, probably a B tier shoe to me. Better than the Trae Young 2. Close to the 1, it's more like a lighter but less stable version of the Trae Young 1, if that makes sense. These shoes will 100% go on sale at some point in the future. So at a discounted price, I think this is a good cop. But let me know how you feel about these down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.